Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and we live in a brave new world right now when it comes to programming. It has never been easier to generate code or to change existing code than it is right now. Using tools like Cloud Code, you can literally go in there and take, say, a large code base, like, for example, Godot, and say, I want to change X, and it will go ahead and do that. And then you can submit that back up, and in fact, you can actually even automate that process as well. So if you want to submit out a change request back to the repository, you can use AI to automate this as well. This is called creating a pull request, which is then submitted up to the Godot project, and then it's someone's job at the Godot Foundation to go through all of your code and decide if it is up to the snuff of the rest of the project. And when you're talking a large code base, this can be a very time-consuming process to review these incoming changes. So what we have here is the ability to make changes, particularly changes you may not actually fully understand the ramifications of, is never been easier. But the problem is the process of maintaining these changes isn't getting any better. And this has gone on for a while now. Actually, Remy, one of the heads of the Godot Foundation and the guy that's basically in charge of maintaining the Godot code base, tweeted or skied, or whatever you say for Blue Sky, this comment: honestly, AI slot pull requests are becoming increasingly draining and demoralizing for Godot maintainers. This was back in February. I did a video about it. It's impacted a number of open source projects, by the way. It's not just Godot that's suffering from this. And then it came back to here. We find ourselves having to second guess every pull request from new contributors multiple times per day. Description is verbose LLM output. Is the code written at least partially by a human? Does the author understand the code they are sending? Did they test it? Are the test results made up? Is the code wrong because it was written by AI, or is it an honest mistake from an inexperienced human contributor? What do you do when you ask a pull request author if they used AI because you're suspicious and they reply all, yes, I used to write the pull request because I'm bad with English. Godot prides itself on being welcoming to new contributors and letting any engine user have the possibility to make an impact on their engine of choice. Maintainers spend a lot of time assisting new contributors to help them get pull requests in a mergeable state. I don't know how long we can keep it up. Well, the answer is no longer. So we've actually got a change at the Godot Foundation. And again, this is not specific to Godot. This is something that a number of other open source projects have actually faced. And another one is the programming language Zig did a great write-up explaining exactly why this whole pull request to pull reviewer ratio thing is so damaging. We'll get back to that in just a second. But first, we're going to talk about what Godot have just done. So they've changed their contribution policies, and they've changed them pretty drastically, to be honest. Now, this actually happened a couple days ago, the day before Canada Day, the world's greatest holiday. So that's why I'm covering this a couple days after it happened. But they kind of basically talked about the exact same thing Remy talked about earlier on. What you have is more and more AI-generated contributions are coming in, and you can actually have it fully automated. So you can have AI actually make the change and the pull request. So it can take literally a matter of seconds to minutes to generate a new pull request. But the problem is you still need a human on the other end to go through that code and find out if it fits in, if it is a good fit, and so on. So what we have is the barrier of entry for creating a pull request has become basically zero. And a lot of people are generating code they don't necessarily understand. And the problem is, again, AI generated, well, anything, are prone to hallucinations, problems, and so on. So even if you use AI as a tool, you need to still fundamentally understand what it is generating for that to be of worth. If you just let it generate a whole bunch of stuff, well, that's when you end up with slop. So what you've done is basically the bottleneck on the Godot side of things straight out is this review policy. There's only a certain number of reviewers. It's a crappy job, so not many people want to do it. So it is tedious work, but is rewarding because reviewers generally felt that their efforts are contributing to educating a new contributor who at some point in time may become a maintainer. So, you know, if someone's new to the project, you want to actually encourage them to do contributions, but if it's just a robot on the other end, not so great. So they don't think that they're necessarily, the investment in a new contributor isn't paying off on the other end when AI is involved. So that's where we kind of got broke down here. So again, they want to encourage new contributions because that's how you get new maintainers and that's how you keep a code base going forward. But LLMs, again, not learning anything from that. Same thing, you want to make sure that they can take responsibility for their code. So if the code that they submitted, there's a problem with it, they can fix it in the future. That's not going to happen with AI. And then also, obviously, you just want to keep slop out. That's, I think, pretty much everybody agrees on that one. And then they want to pull requests are, like I said earlier on, they're the biggest bottleneck they have right now in the whole code problem, like in the whole development of Godot. You could have more people generating solutions, but the people reviewing those solutions are currently the bottleneck. So if you have people just implementing AI solutions, especially if they're implementing AI solutions they do not understand, it still has that same bottleneck of people that need to review these and make sure that they aren't going to break the wider code base. So they amend their contribution policies to align with the values described above. Their amended policies will include no autonomous AI agent use or vibe coding. So already leads to an auto ban from their GitHub repository and will continue to do so. No use of AI to generate substantial pieces of code that require all code to be human authored. AI assistance should be limited to menial things like code completion, regular expressions, or find and replace. If you do use AI in some capacity to author code, you must disclose it in the pull request discussion. No AI generated text in human communication. So while maintainers volunteer their time to review your issue, pull request, or proposal, they do not want to talk to a machine. This is a basic principle of respect. Machine translations are still acceptable. So if you need to, if you are writing in, say, German and you need to submit in English, you can still run through like Google Translate and submit that accordingly, as long as the original language was still written by a human. So you just can't have fully AI-generated conversations back to the pull request team. You can use translations, that's allowed, but you cannot use AI-generated text there. And then all pull requests must be reviewed and approved by a human being before merging. So that's where they're at. Now, ironically, one of the things that might actually end up happening, the solution to AI pull requests may end up ultimately being AI auditing, but that's a terrifying future where we have people generating codes using AI that is then accepted or denied by AI. At which point we just have AI writing all the code, reviewing the code, and submitting the code. But yeah, that is the policy that Godot are taking. So basically, the most drastic part of this is the straight up part right here. No use of AI to generate substantial pieces of code. That's a firm policy now. It'd be interesting to see how they actually go ahead and submit it. Now, I did mention earlier on Zig. Zig is a programming language. They came very strongly out against basically the same policy, but they did this back in April. And they just straight out said, no AI, period. Just don't do it. And they did it, and they describe here the whole concept of contributor poker. And the basic premise here is you're taking a gamble on contributors. When a contributor first makes an initial contribution to your project, generally the work to the payoff of the code they actually generated isn't really that great. So it'll take you longer to review the pull requests and get their stuff working in a massaged form. But what you're betting on is that contributor will contribute more stuff, know what they're doing, get better acquainted with the code base, and then become a better contributor. And hopefully at some point in time, they become established enough that they can then in the future review pull requests. So that is the bet. They're placing a bet, so they're investing energy up front to onboard a new contributor, and you hope later on the relationship starts paying you back as the contributor becomes more trusted and prolific. And they've called this contribution poker. And that has been the basis of pretty much every single open source project ever. You take time to teach people how to submit to your code base, you work with them on it, and then they become better at it, more mature, they know your code base better, and then they become the people that are doing the mentoring at some point in the future. That's the whole idea of the payoff here. The problem is AI has made things worse. So there's a lot of speculation about why Zig project bans AI contributors, but now you understand the importance of contributor poker. It is easy to see why we do it. To be able to provide impactful work, a contributor needs to be familiar with the code base and the problem space, and they need to be trusted by the core team to have thought through all the changes introduced by their pull requests in order to strive for an optimal approach rather than just submitting a random solution that happens to pass CI. Additionally, as part of the process of becoming more trusted, contributors are expected to be responsible for the code they submit for a while more after their code is merged. Nobody is perfect, and sometimes issues are discovered after the fact. Following up the discussion to decide how to course correct are another example of the value of having an iterated relationship with engineers that have built significant insight on a given problem space. This is important because users of Zig have in turn bet on Zig Software Foundation to provide them with a language and tool chain that strives to be as good as we can make it. Unfortunately, the reality of LLM-based contributions has been mostly negative for us. requests, from an increase in background noise due to worthless drive-by pull requests full of hallucinations, to insane 10,000 line long first-time pull requests. In between, we've also received plenty of pull requests that looked fine on the surface, some of which explicitly claim to have not used LLMs, but where follow-up discussion immediately made it clear that the author was sneakily consulting an LLM and regurgitating its mistake-filled reply to us. To be clear, the point here is not to say that we believe that this is all that AI is. We don't. This is clearly a misuse of the tool, but it is also what the overwhelming majority of LLM-based contributions look like for our project. So while one in theory could be a valid contributor that makes use of LLMs from the perspective of contributor poker, it is simply irrational for us to bet on LLM users while there's a huge pool of other contributors that don't present this risk factor. People who remarked on how it's impossible to know if contributions come from an LLM or not have completely missed the point of this policy and are clearly unaware of contributor poker. For us, the ability to provide contributors with an engaging ecosystem where they can improve their system thinking and interact with other competent, trusted, and prolific engineers is a critical aspect of our business model. As mentioned before, Zig is able to punch well above its weight / funding class because we offer huge effort in thinking about technical, social, and business management issues that surround the project. Contributor poker is a key part of our strategy, and it is the project's best interest to push back against anything that hinders our ability to play the game effectively. That said, we are aware that there are still many unresolved issues, and we plan to adjust our policy as we gain more insight. I think that sums it up, like the problem that they're facing. Again, on all of these projects, the bottleneck is the reviewers. And when you have more coming in from not real people that can eventually graduate to becoming reviewers themselves, you break down the entire system. And that is why Zig banned AI, and basically that is why Godot have just done the same thing. So let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.